This may be proof of the consoles coming to Nintendo Switch Online. Okay, so first up, yes, I have my hair down. I am still Andy, don't worry. And recently I did a video about the possibility of the next consoles coming to Nintendo Switch Online. We talked about the GameCube and the Game Boy and some other bits and pieces. However, something's just been brought to my attention by a user called Jazzy Waffles. So shout out to Jazzy Waffles for bringing this to my attention, because I had no idea about it. Jazzy Waffles told me about NERD, and that is the Nintendo European Research and Development Team owned by Nintendo. But it goes back a little bit further, so I'm going to sort of like go through a bit of a history of what NERD did and is doing, and how we can sort of see that this is probably going to project and sort of prove what's going to come to Nintendo Switch Online. So NERD were formerly known as MobiClip, and they were a video codec developer, and they worked with Nintendo on stuff like the DS, the Game Boy, and the Wii. And then in 2011, Nintendo actually bought them out, changed their name to the Nintendo, European Research and Development Team, and then had them like exclusively working for them. And whilst working for them, they developed the Super Stable 3D for the new 3DS systems. They worked on the DS and Wii emulation for the Wii U Virtual Console. And then they developed the NES and SNES emulation for the Classic Edition consoles, which soon after saw the NES and the SNES released to Nintendo Switch Online. But it gets better. Then in 2020, NERD developed the emulation for Mario 3D All-Stars. Now this is pretty big because there's 3 different consoles here. You've got N64, you've got GameCube, and the Wii. So they developed the emulation for these. And then what happens a little while later? Well, Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, which has the N64. Now at the same time, they develop the GameCube emulator, which is used on the Zelda Game & Watch Edition little mini consoles, if you know about those. I've got the Mario one, but it was the Zelda version. So technically, they have 3 systems that could already come to Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, or just to the Nintendo Switch Online. Because they've got Game Boy, they've got GameCube, and they've got Game Wii, and they've got the Wii. So seeing this sort of trend, could we actually see these coming? We've already had rumors of the Game Boy, right? And I've already been saying, well, GameCube's not going to be far off. And what about the Wii? We've already seen Wii ports coming to the Switch anyway. So is there a possibility we could see that on the Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, or just the base level? Then this got me thinking, well, obviously they're not going to release them all at once, but what if they don't release them all into the same thing? So what I'm saying is we've got the NES and the SNES on the base level Nintendo Switch Online service, right? And then the expansion pack is for like the bigger consoles, yeah? We've got the Sega Genesis or MegaDrive, and we've got the N64. So in my sort of reckoning, I can imagine Game Boy coming to the base level Nintendo Switch Online, so that you get NES, SNES, and Game Boy. And then on the expansion pack, Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack, that is where I can see GameCube coming, and then the Wii as well. Now, obviously Nintendo aren't just gonna come out tomorrow and say, here's 3 mega consoles on the Nintendo Switch Online like service. They're not gonna do that, right? But is this like a prediction? Is this like proof of a roadmap? Because you know what Nintendo's are like they're so secretive, they don't really like tell you a roadmap. We don't even know what N64 games we've got coming, right, to the expansion pack, other than a few. But is this the roadmap? Could we see Game Boy maybe come this year to Nintendo Switch Online? And then maybe next year in 2023, could we see GameCube come to the expansion pack? And then maybe in 2024 or even 2025, because, you know, Nintendo is saying that we're only halfway through the Switch lifecycle, maybe 2024 or 2025 sees the Wii come to the expansion pack. And then around that time, maybe we start seeing a Switch Pro being announced, or maybe even the Switch Switch successor. And either one of those, well, maybe Nintendo are finally smart enough because we've seen what's happened with the Wii U and the 3DS where the stores are getting closed down and we lose everything. Maybe now they're thinking, okay, people have had enough of this, and if they do make a Pro or do make a successor, maybe they keep the same service running. So we still get Nintendo Switch Online, but onto this new console, and then it just keeps progressing and they keep adding stuff. Can we see that? Like, to me, this is looking like a really good roadmap, and it's being backed up by evidence, which has been brought to my attention by Jazzy Waffles, so again, shout out. But I've been doing research on this all morning. Like, I've just been diving into all of this because I saw that comment and I was like, okay, what's this? Like, I didn't know about this. Looked into it all, and well, it's all pretty much adding up. There's evidence for all of it. And well, you know, I think this could actually be what's going to happen, because what's already happened is kind of based on what Nerd have done, right? So it looks like Game Boy, GameCube, and Wii are in the works. Whether or not they actually release them is another story, but I can imagine them doing it, like I said, as a roadmap over the next few years. I can imagine it happening, and I really, really hope that Nintendo is smart enough now to push this service onto the next console as well. So what do you think? Well, do you believe this? Like, do you know about Nerd already, or is this news to you as well? Like, I'd love to know what you think, because, you know, this is what it's all about, right? But anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you go and subscribe, and if you want more news, then you may want to go and watch this video just here, which is our first Switch news video, where AJ and I talk about Chocobo GP, F-Zero, House of the Dead, like loads of stuff. So go and check this video out as well, and subscribe.